Okay. All right. So if we go to number Yud in the on page Kuf Lamed Dalet, and then we'll go over here and we'll see the Nimsim. He biruri hamalachim elohim shorsh hechle shal hakli. Wow, shal hakelim atachtainim. It's the he says what the birurim and the malachim. He had said this previously. They become the root of the kli, which ultimately becomes the kelim atachtainim. Now, what he means by kelim atachtainim, I think he means v'hu nikracha b'kan chakikus v'chakikus. Kikus. Hakika is called a hikiko. Excuse me. Today I got allergies today. So let's see. So the concept here is that somehow the birurim, which we're really trying to understand, are going to make the concept of this of the carving out of kalim. So what the carving out of kalim means, that carving out means you make a hole or something like that, or an impression in some way, and it makes it possible for what's up above to come into down below and fill it up. So Haim Shor Shal Kli Shal Hakelim Atachtonim V'hu Nikra Kan Hakikus Kol Hakikus. This is the ultimate. This is, in other words, the root of the carving out of vessels. The Haina Kli HaRishon V'Shor Shal Kol Hakelim Ka'amur. So he says that the first kli is which is the Shorshe Shal Kol Hakelim Ka'amur. I'm not sure what he meant there. Let's look at number Yud Aleph. Yud Aleph says, and let's see how many time. Okay, he says Yud Aleph says Rei b'chares la'el dechakiku begiluf hainu inyan kli b'tzimtzum or ein sham. So it's the concept of making a kli. So what's a kli? A kli is a lesser level of light. So he says a kli b'tzimtzum ein sham. So what we have explained over here in the introduction, Nimsaki Tlas Almin, the Tikkun Rishon. So let's talk about that first Tikkun, which is scale. There are 3 almim inside of it. Mispashtim and Imshachan Medarga the Darga, it starts spreading downwards. Mendikna de Eric Anpin, the Kasvim de Eric Anpin, until the shoulders of Eric Anpin. Now, what are we talking about here? He says that Nimdakitalas Almim, that so those are the birurim of the malachim, of the first 3 malachim. Min kasvim de Eric Anpen, the kasvim de Acharayim de Abba Ve'ima, and then this is the part here I'm not sure that I understand this. If you have Abba Ve'ima on the outside of Zeranpen, of Eric Anpen, so how does it get through? It's through Abba Ve'ima to go to its outside. But that's what he says. He says that it's a mispashiv and imshachim, medarga the darga, min dikna de Eric Anpin, the kasvin de Eric Anpin, and min kasvin de Eric Anpin, the kasvin de Acharayim, the Abba Ve'ima, so that it goes back to the backside of them. And then the backside really transfers it to the next parts of the Bechidas Acharayim, the Leah, the Varachel Shehem Dinims, until it comes to the actual backside of Rachel and Leah and Rachel, he says, which represents Dinim. We understand that Leah is behind Bina. Binim call Acharayim v'Dinim Heba Bechidas Sida v'Tzimtzum the Or. What does Acharayim mean? It means a lessening. I'm going to use the word lessening. Heba Bechidas Siluk v'Tzimtzum or is the removal and the contraction of the light. Lessens the light. So I guess maybe you could say that as it passes through the partsuf and reaches its way to the outside, maybe that's one way I could understand it. But whatever it is that it comes into it is attached on its panemius. That is that the panemius of Abba Ve'ima are really at the kasvim of Zeranpin, and they have an acharayim. The light passes through that, he seems to be saying, and as a result of that, they become minimized. But at the same time, there are layers here, and it spreads into the mochin of the klipos. Shuhu mamash makum silaka or, because they find themselves at the place where the light has been removed or minimized. And then once you have that situation, then you see that they spread into Bria Yitzir and Asiya. He said, "Shekula bebechidas olamos v'siluk v'tzimtzum ma'or." So all of them are the concept of the universes, the concept of the minimization of light. Because bechidas giluf v'kli. Now let me just go over this one more time so that I can understand. I still have a little bit of time. He says that I could try to understand how the giluf takes place as a result of the light passing through these through to the outside of the partzuf. Or because all of them represent the concept of minimization of the light. And he says that the minimization of the light is the place where you find different madrigas of it, ultimately reaching to the klipa. And I guess if it reaches to the klipa, then you're going into bia. Because so this process that we're talking about is the concept of making kalim. Now, I'm not sure that I really hear how this makes it kli, but that's what he says. Let's try to understand it better. So the main part of this is really in the original world, the Talas Almin, that is, it begins. And I'm thinking about this, that maybe I saw this with Yaakov Cronenberg. I really want to understand it better. It is in the Eitz Chaim, somewhere between the 13th and the 17th Shar, Ad Bechlal, somewhere in there, it talks about this idea. So that first world has these birurim, which are all kadosh at this place. But he says that they actually are moving down, and that light is being mesuluk, and as a result of that, it's moving to the outside. He says, so it also has the two worlds that are below it. B'shem Mabusharim. So he says you could see that in the Mabusharim. V'sharim Rashbi over there, B'sham Ein Sham. V'od ki Iker Inyan Gavuros. So he says more than that. The Iker of the Inyan, the Gavuros, which are the dinim, the tlas almim, humitzad elef the alma kademah. Now this word elef here is sticking out like a sore thumb. We went through it in great detail when we're talking about the millenniums, or what do you call it, the 1,000-year concepts. I'm not sure what it means over here. Let's read it again. The tlas almin humitzad elef the alma kademah. It's the elef of and it pronounces it. It's not aleph. It's aleph. It's like 1,000 of the first universe. Shoshorsho begavura the atik, which has a root really, which because it's coming out of the mochstimah, and it represents actually contraction in that place. He says, or some kind of condensation there. It's actually coming from Gavuros, the Dinim de Tlas Alman. It's coming from those. The key Iker Inyan Gavuros, the Dinim, the Tlas Alman, who mitzad Elef the Alma Kademoa. It's the 1,000 that refers to the first to the first Alma. Shorsho begavura the Atik, which is actually it has a root in Atik, which is inside of the Mokstima. And as a result of that, there's already Gavur at the beginning of Mabasharm. Over there, it explains it. Ayin Sham V'Rei Gam Be'etzchaim. I'll look over there too. The Bechidas HaKelim Na'asa Ayidecha B'chsana Gavuras the Das. The Kelim are made over there. That's the quote over there. Besod Osios, which is the concept of Osios. Now, there's a lot there. I don't know what it means by the concept of Osios. What Osios actually, he says some kind of a stamp also, some kind of a giluf. Not sure, but that's very possible. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for learning with me. And Mitzvah Hashem, I'll see you on Thursday. Have a wonderful fast and a sweet day.